Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Luna here. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the mistakes that I have made in my first year within real estate. So it is my second year selling, and take a look of the overview of how I did my first year, and I came up with those 7 mistakes that I have made, and I hope you guys won't make any of these mistakes, or if you have any other insight, you can leave a comment down below. So let's get into the video. All of you guys know that 87% of the agents fail within their first year in real estate. So it is definitely a very challenging career, especially the first few months. It's super crucial. I have made a video that talked about the first 30 days as a real estate agent. I will link it up there. So the link of the description, it's going to be in the description box below. So the first mistake that I have made is definitely chasing that one big sale in your career. So oftentimes, especially when you first started, your first couple clients are most likely going to be buyer. So when I first started, I did work with a young couple. I thought that, you know, we know exactly what they're looking for, and I have been spending a lot of times, like over 4 months, helping them finding their dream house. We did end up finding them what they were looking for, but they ended up purchasing it on their own. So it's pretty tough to find out the truth, because I nearly wasted 4 months. But also I want you guys to realize, never really put all your eggs in one basket. Don't expect so much just from one sale, and never really chasing that big sale. What's gonna come back is it will, you know, definitely set me back. It's gonna hurt my feelings, but I learn to, you know, learn from my mistake and move on. So the second mistake that I will say is to focus too much on the buyer leads, not sellers. Because if you guys have been in the business long enough, you know listings are the key. Listings are leverage. For you to be a successful real estate agent, you want majority of your business to focus on listing. So when I first started, I think it's just easier to get buyer leads. I purchased Zillow. I was paying $700 per month at a time. Majority of the leads that I've been receiving are buyer leads. So it's really hard for me to qualify which ones are true buyers, which ones are not true buyers. So it really takes the time to kind of figure out who is seriously about buying. So right now for my business, I only work with serious qualified buyers. Those are the clients that I'm only working with. And move on to number 3, is not to invest in a real estate coach. So I know there's a lot of coaches out there. I don't have the experience with any coaches just yet, so I can't really put any recommendation, but I definitely will say for you guys to do your own research and invest in a real estate coach or mentor, because those good habits, it's really good to have it when you first start, versus later on you've made the mistakes and then you invest in coach, you have to change those habits. It's going to be harder. The 4th mistakes that I have made, I will say, is to overprice listing. I'm sure a lot of agents still does it. Even those experienced agents, they still overprice listing. What I come across with overpriced listing is most of the time they are going to be expired listing. So once they goes expired, then all the work and hard work that you have done, you're not getting compensated. So it just feels more like a charity work. I have a story where I got the seller leads through cold call. She is not a direct seller. She's actually a member that was the trustee from her mom's house. So we were able to put it up on the market, but because she currently isn't living and occupying in the property, it was her family member who is actually also not cooperating with the showing time and for people to come in and take a look. It just became extremely hard for me to get qualified buyers in, and there are investors who are willing to put up a offer price, but then she wouldn't pick up the phone, therefore the offer contract just went expired. So that became my first expired listing, and it was just really hard. I put in so many hours. I was contacting him, I was contacting, you know, the person who lives there at the time. I spent a lot of hours and then end up not getting compensated. So I would never really, you know, overprice that listing, and then also I would not spend too much time working with sellers who are not ready or they have difficulties of providing access to the property. So the next one of the mistakes that I've made is not getting on the phone for prospecting. So I've had issues with getting on the phone and get rid of my fear when I first started cold calling people. It's just the unknown that makes it extremely hard, because even before I start trying to get on the phone, I would have all these like negative thoughts of what people would think about me, what they will say on the phone. But in reality, the more you do, those fears just became like, I wouldn't say it's not existing anymore, it just become a lot easier to manage, because I have came across a lot of angry people, and most likely I asked them if they want to sell their house and they start cursing, and I was like, okay, well, no worries, you know, have a good day, because clearly they're not interested in selling, so just move on to the next. You know, it would just become a rejection, nothing more. It's just a phone. They're not gonna, you know, they don't know what you look like. They're not gonna come to your office, or like none of these things exist. It won't happen to you. So obviously the more practice that you're going through, you're going to sound a lot smoother and better on the phone. So number 6 is not to have a structure and a business model. So in one of my recent videos, I have talked about my daily routine of like how I prospect and what my daily activity looks like. And I found it became a lot easier for me to stick with it. So basically from Monday to Friday, it is my prime prospecting time. I would go on listing appointment. You know, my goal is to get 5 listings per week. So I tend to schedule those listing appointments after like 6 o'clock. I would go to the office from 10 to 6 o'clock, and then I'll take 1 hour lunch break. Within those hours, most of the time in the morning, I'll set 1 hour or 30 minutes to do the follow-up with the lead that I've been follow up with, or the clients that I've been nurturing, those sellers who are, you know, see their update when they're ready to sell. And then I will set all like 5 hours just dedicated on prospecting to find potential sellers in the future. So typically 1 to 2 years of the seller is going to be categorized as a hot lead, and anything after 2 and 5 years is going to be my warm lead, and after 5 years is going to be not yet interested on Mojo. So, and I found it's really easier, you know, just with my personal life also, is Monday, Friday, I'm just going to work, and Saturday, Sunday, if I have appointment, I'll go to my appointment. If I have previews, I'll go to my previews. And typically, I don't really do anything on Sundays. I used to host open houses, but not really like hosting open house anymore on Sundays. I tend to just, you know, pay more attention with like YouTube and planning on what I'm going to do the following week, and just kind of relax on Sunday and enjoy, you know, my life and not really have to worry about too much of like showings. So I think having a structure is definitely really important for people to kind of balance your personal life and your work life. So number 7 is spending money on advertising and purchasing leads when you first started. And I have made videos about purchasing Zillow leads when I first start selling, and I think it's definitely a waste of your time, just because two reasons. One, you don't know how to pre-qualify the buyers, and two is their majority buyer leads, not seller leads. Now that I'm in the business almost 2 years, I know I wanted to focus more on sellers, so therefore it just doesn't make sense for you to purchase Zillow leads or spend too much money on advertising, because the return is not that great. So here are the 7 mistakes that I have made. I hope you guys can learn a lot of things from my video and not to make any of those mistakes. If you have any other mistakes that you have made when you first start selling, please leave a comment down below. Thank you so much, you guys, for watching my video. Please be sure to subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one.